Hey folks, June 4th, Rotoball Patch Compound, standing at the stop sign patch. Trying to get a video done before that nasty weather hits. Check out that weather. Oh, it's a coming. All right, let's go ahead and walk on into that stop sign patch, see what we have. Some things have changed. We'll get back down there and talk about those things in a moment. Lots of things are changing. Let's start up with the Mccaslins first. These gals, they're growing. Almost like I know what I'm doing, but don't. I do finally have some secondaries coming off these plants, which is nice. That plant looks tiny, but that's a decent sized plant. Believe it or not, the daggone mane is probably, no joke, 9 to 10 feet long. You look at that and go, really? It realistically is. Between these posts, that post to that post, is probably 12 to 14 foot. And you can see the tip of the mane's not far from that, and we're inset about 3 foot from the edge. So we'll say it's 9 foot. The mane's 9 foot, and that's regular feed, not trout feed. Good looking plants. Still don't have any clue what I'm doing. Just feeding them and treating them like pumpkins and see what happens. We're gonna get a nice one to the scale, hopefully. The Robert Burchette, the 1526, we're down to one, the chosen one, and I ended up keeping the furthest away plant. So we had this gal right here that's a little bit longer, and this one, which wasn't as long but had better secondary production, and that's kind of the reason I went with it. The length doesn't get me terribly excited, especially this plant. I don't need a lot of length. I mean, it's 150 square foot. Looking down at the secondaries, that's the first one I've kept. You can count the nodes if you want to count that node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nodes before I kept a secondary. And I'm gonna keep that one and roll it backwards. I'm gonna keep this one and roll it backwards. Probably skip a few secondary nodes and then do the same thing. And we'll fill in the allotted side by side, rolling those back in a traditional spider pattern. Once we get to that T-post, which has a center pivot sprinkler onto it, I'll probably start rolling the secondaries forward, and then we're going to be looking to set the fruit somewhere in that area. So fruit's toward the end of the patch, secondaries running in a real tight spider pattern, really hugging the boards. That's the whole idea, is I want to put roots right next to those boards, try to steal as much root zone from neighboring patches, whether it be the watermelon or this patch, which got planted today with giant field pumpkins. Yeah, we're getting into field pumpkin business. See if we can do some exciting work here. This one's mine, and it is a 138.5 Paul from 2022. Mr. Paul, which is a 177 times itself. And then I'll let my daughter have one. She really wanted to try a field pumpkin. And hers happens to be another one of Paul's, a 164 from 2021 with the 128 times self field pumpkin. This area is 150 square foot between 2 plants. So real small plants. Don't think we're going to need a real big plant to get a good fruit. I think I can push 100 pounds off of 75 square foot, utilized properly. Now, I think if I waste it, I can't do that. But I think if I utilize it properly and maintain it, I can grow a nice field pumpkin, and so can't Stella. Pretty excited. Nice to finally get them in the ground. I'm gonna bend down, you kind of see the ramp setup I got. So there's a nice ditch running around, and we're ramped up. We're probably 4 to 6 inches raised, and it's a nice large footprint of an area. Decent size, and the seeds are actually right there. 3 of them direct sown. And I'll water them in here in a little bit if this weather doesn't pan out for us. Hopefully they sprout. Next time I make a video, I'll come out here and show you, hey, we've got 3 pumpkin plants to choose from. Until then, we'll wait and see and cross our fingers. On to the other parts of the grow. I know it's been a little bit while since we've seen Frostbite, but there she is. Look at her, still doing work. Eat up, deficient, just rough. Rough, but just covered in the midichloprid, still doing work. Keep up a good job, Frostbite. Yeah. the patio area. Check out my green beans. Go green beans. Got a trellis now. It's pretty stable. It's gonna double as a jungle gym for the children. Help them get up on that roof. Yeah, get up on that roof, clean daddy's gutters, children. We're gonna call these gals down to probably 3 plants when it's all said and done. Try to favor there, and there strongest beans out of the patch. This is only 36 inches wide, so 3's a lot. The 9.08 Chris Brown. I was gonna run off of that T-post, and I decided the poor beans need as much room as they can. So today I sunk another T-post beside of it. We're gonna start teasing that plant to this T-post, see what we can do. Might actually run a soil ramp up through here and try to get some auxiliary rooting off this plant and see what happens. That'd be cool. It's a shorter T-post, so not a lot of height on that one. The ruby plant of Stella's, it's starting to grow out a little bit. Still wilting pretty heavy. And still, a matter of fact, she just watered it. And some of the early leaves look pretty rough, but no bugs. This is another nice indicator plant to see if we're getting any insects. Stella doesn't know that it's an indicator plant, but it is. And we'll keep a close eye on it, just see what it does. Look at this nonsense out here. Whoa, I don't know. But you can see we're one at each point. Who knows? Good luck, Stella. On to the main patch. Oh, let's check out the 1707.5 Caspers first. Secondary development is there. We're properly trained off the fabric. Got a few nodes buried Friday. Today we're Sunday, so you know I'm putting on good length. Normally I'll bury up to the tip. A lot of folks don't do that, and you probably shouldn't do that, but I do it. I can get away with it. Plant probably has 16 secondaries, and we have a little fruit down there underneath the table. I'm gonna call that gal off of there. And I told Pete, I said it would probably fire off in the next 3 to 5 days, but plant's just not big enough to support it. And to be honest with you, I got a lot of real estate to give still yet, so I'm looking for 19 to 22 secondaries behind this plant. So that is not our keeper underneath there. I might actually let it develop and see what we come up with, though. Nice little plant. And I do have a fan on, guys. Check out that fan. Stump covers are there, nice and healthy and happy. A little bit of checking right where that top leaf was. You can see the checking. Not a big deal. As long as it's covered up and happy and healthy and dry. Now the 1965.5 Rotoball. Well, let's take a look at that stump. That's what we'll start with. Got a little bit concerned with that stump, and I know, man, it is early June, and to be having stump problems already, you're thinking, oh boy, that's not looking good. Well, I have the cover completely off to let sunshine get to it. And if you can check it out, it's a little bit brown there. Let's see if I can even zoom in. Turn this fan off so they can hear me person. Zoom in, Doc. A little bit brown right there. Yeah, right there. But it's not soft, it's hard, lots of checking and splitting. I think it's okay. It feels okay. I haven't applied anything to it. I will not apply anything to it. I have removed a little bit more soil around the base. You can see that on the line. Anytime that it looks like it's going to rain, I do have the stump cover over top of it, and I run a fan on it. That's all you can do. That's all you need to do. This plant's so young and healthy. It's reparative to its own extent at this point, so no sense in overdoing it. All right, step back and actually look at the plant. Yeah, good sized plant. Now this isn't a Justin Lent 1965.5. I don't know what that fella's feeding his, but I'm trying to catch him. It's trying all season to catch Justin Lent, but I don't know if I'll catch him. Nice, healthy, fat plant. Good looking collar. The tips are at a level that I like to see. They're raised up off the ground, not Cobra style, but maybe 6 to 8 inches, which is good. Tendrils, I'm leaving those this year. Dad calls those graboids. He's like, yeah, he said, I see you're leaving your graboids, Chris. Yeah, I'm leaving my graboids. And the idea behind that is it's just one less wound to take them off. I'm gonna give it a try this year. If you look close around the stump, you see some misshapen leaves. I want to make sure you guys catch this. Misshapen. What happened to that leaf? It's misshapen. Well, I cut that area out to let direct sunshine hit that stump to keep it dry and healthy and happy. And like I said, the cover only goes on when we have rain or at night. So if daytime no precipitation is forecasted, it's open like that and looks good, lets the sun hit it. If we have precipitation, stump covers over top of it. I am turning my fans off at night. These plants don't really need fans yet. I'm just kind of getting in the swing of things because the fan season's going to be in full swing. Let's see if I can walk you around and get you a good look at things. Check out that mustard. Woo, mustard. Let me tell you about this mustard before we go any further. So this area used to be all mustard. A little bit of mustard there, all mustard. I like mustard. Boy, does it suppress weeds beautifully, and does it murder over super easy with a hula hoe. So I have seeded every bit of my patch in mustard. Some of it's coming up nicely, some of it coming up not so nicely. You can see some areas over there. It's like around the runways. And I'm watering this plant, and I'm watering the whole patch. But that's what you get. Tip of the plant. Yeah, looking all right. I pulled a pumpkin off a few nodes back a few days ago. I'm not sure if there's one in the tip. I don't dig around on things. I'll let it show up or not. I'm catching you, Justin. Not yet, but we'll catch you. All right, to the bottom area. On to the lower portion of the patch here, we got Ruby. There's Ruby, guys. This is going to be about 150, 250 square foot plant, something like that. See, we're still kind of moist underneath the plant. Nice overcast day, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. Good looking plant. A little bit of yellowing early on, not a big deal. A little bit of sun scorch later on, not a big deal. Finally starting to shoot some secondaries. That's all right. I did bury the first few nodes. I don't know if I'll bury anything else on this plant. This is just to get a nice pretty fruit to the scale to chase a Howard deal. Plus I wanted to grow Ruby. Why not? See what she can do. Oh, got those guys out too. 2 of them. A little early still yet. And that's not what you think it is. That's some sort of a wasp. But a little early yet for the squash vine boar traps, but I want to go ahead and put them out. What's it going to hurt? Tomato box looks good. I have removed some areas of the plant. You know, these come up and they split. And mine always split real early. I mean, that's not terribly tall. That's 1.5 feet tops. And I don't like it. I'm not gonna set any fruit there. That's ridiculous. I've got a T-post that goes to the moon. I want tomatoes up here in the moon. So I picked the most dominant side, cut off the other side, let her grow. And I don't do that to one plant. I do that to just about every plant. But they're still kicking and they look nice. The 1143.5 PAL. Green squash. I don't know what it is about this lower portion. There's a lot of clay, but my goodness, it's always nitrogen bloat city down here, no matter what I do. So I am keeping a table over this. And you can see towards the tip, the newer leaves that have a little bit extra sun, have all that nitrogen. Man, they're scorched and ripping and just gnarly looking. But the plant's still healthy. They actually have some roots trying to fire underneath this nodes. That looks nice. If a person came out here and buried them, they might actually grow a decent sized squash. But just like Ruby, she's destined to be a pretty beautiful squash of 1,000 pounds if I'm lucky, because she's in a small area. Sometimes you just grow things for fun, guys, and sometimes you grow things for fame. Yeah. That's ridiculous. I'm not editing it out, it's staying in there. All right, that's that. Last week's video, I talked about EC and showed myself testing soil and solution. I bought another EC meter. This is the same one Travis has. And I wanted to compare my meter to this meter in solution. Of course, this one doesn't do soil. And I found that the readings to be identical. One thing I do like about this meter is it does also offer other options. It doesn't do soil, obviously, for EC, but for liquid, it does pH, it does temperature, EC, and parts per million, this particular unit. Really like it, guys. And like I said, it was spot on accurate compared to my existing unit. So my other unit may be retired to just soil, or to at least spot check the accuracy for this one going forward for a little while, or if there's ever questions. But happy to try it out. And I might make another video showing both of them in action over different instances with different solution concentrations, generating different ECs and pHs. I've got some really cool stuff to show when it comes to pH of certain chemicals and ECs of certain chemicals, things that'll blow your gourd. Alrighty folks, that's this week's video. Cool, exciting stuff happened. We got down to one Burchette plant. Yeah, the chosen 150 patch, which is nice. Nice to be pot committed on everything. Put the field pumpkins in the ground, one for myself and one for Stella, which is really exciting. I hope that she gets a good fruit. I plan to get a good fruit. Plants are growing nice, getting those secondaries to really push out, starting to bury vines. EC meter, nice new one came in the mail. Travis's unit, comparing it to my unit. Like I said, it's pretty accurate, has nice features that I think would be really neat to do a follow-up video on my first EC video, just to show the comparison of the two and kind of what I look for and how things make sense to me. That's one thing I always try to push, is I want to show you what works for me. I'm not ever going to tell you this is what you need to do, because if I start telling you this is what you need to do, that's a recipe for you to fail. So I'm going to give you some tools, or try to give you some tools to maybe help you with your grow. By no means am I looking to educate you. I am looking to maybe spark some thoughts to help you push a little bit heavier. Questions, comments. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, hit me up if you need me. Doc out.